So Ree's just my nickname because my mother named me Cherie, but my father calls me Sherry. People in hardware stores call me Sir. Now my parents may not have agreed on how to pronounce my name, but the one thing they always agreed on is that they were proud of me for being a straight A student, which is the only time my parents ever referred to me as straight. To this day. And I'm married to a man. So if you're not following what I'm trying to tell you, I suck dick. But people see what they want to see, you know? And you're probably thinking like, oh, I get it, you're a tomboy. I ain't one of them either. I have no idea how many touchdowns there are in football. I don't know how many periods there are in golf or umpires in hockey ball. The other day, this woman told me I look like a Cupid doll, which has got to be the most neutral thing anyone has ever said to me. Because it's not an insult, but it ain't a compliment either. Now, if you don't know what a Cupid doll is, it is a little naked plastic cherub doll. But you don't know if it's a boy or a girl because it's got a Barbie bump in the front. And if you do know what one looks like, do I look like a Cupid doll? How about now? If you still ain't seen it, we could try it naked. I like that. And, you know, my husband and I, we don't have kids, we don't have dolls, you know, but we did have a scare recently. Took an at-home test, saw the 2 pink lines. I looked at my husband and was like, well, better COVID than pregnant. And my husband was my 4th fiance. Unfortunately, my other 3 relationships ended because of cheating. But because my husband is so wonderful, I believe that God has forgiven me. Didn't think it was me, did ya? Pretty sure they didn't see it coming either. And I don't think it's right to say once a cheater, always a cheater. Because now that I'm married, I'm an adulterer. And guys, I did good for myself. My husband is good looking, and people like to remind me of that. We walk into a restaurant together, my husband's like, table for 2, please. At which point the hostess looks at him and says, I'll be right with you. Turns to me, DoorDash pickup's right over there at the counter, sir. I'm at work for DoorDash. Uber Eats carry out, same counter. I go to my husband's work events. His colleagues are like, oh my God, you're so much fun. That's so cool your brother brings you to these things. It's okay. When that happens, I just walk up to my husband, give him a big old kiss on the mouth, start talking about what it was like for us as kids being raised in the South. And I'm like, probably shouldn't have done that. So I go back and I'm like, hey, just so everybody knows, we did have different dads. When my husband and I go on vacation, we like to do a little role playing like we're strangers. My husband will say something flirty to me from down the bar, offer to buy me a drink. As I make my way around over to him, the bartender leans into my husband and says, sir, I think you've had enough to drink. Oh, you didn't like that for me, huh? A few drinks later and a little bit of making out, my husband excuses himself to the bathroom. Same bartender comes up to me now, and he says, you know he's married, right? I'm like, yeah, of course I do. That's my brother. But I don't care about any of that right now, because this year my husband and I celebrated our 15th wedding anniversary. Thank you. So for those of you who don't know, it is the crystal anniversary. Like any good wife, I got him a hooker. You want to guess her name? Crystal? No, it's Rita. But for an extra 50, she's into role playing too. People ask me, doesn't it get boring being married for so many years? I'm How can it be? Just the other day, my husband came up with a new nickname for me. It is SpongeBob Square-Ass. Now, I don't know what possessed him to say that to my face. Just like, I don't know what happened to his new PlayStation controller. But we're just about even. People also ask me, how did you meet? And I tell them, we met the old-fashioned way. AOL chat rooms. Tinder of the 90s. It took me 30 minutes to download that dick pic. But somehow it made it seem longer. My screen name on AOL was Loves the Scissor. Any other scrapbookers out there? No? Just me? All right. We met in the Michigan S&M room. Single and mature. And I am glad I met my husband when I did, because they were not all mature. No, Gib Boy 69. I do not want to pee on you while you oink into my vagina. I know that's bad. And I know you guys are probably wondering why I'm looking at this gentleman over here. That's Gib Boy. Dad, say hello to everyone. And I want to be clear about something else. Like, I was not like a bait and switch wife. Like, I didn't start off skinny and then poof, just let myself go. I had the courtesy to let myself go years before I met my husband. And now my husband's not a chubby chaser. This fat girl does not run. As a matter of fact, if you see me running, y'all need to be running. Because, girl, we're in danger. But my husband is with me because I've got personality and roofies. And whips and chains and clamps and cuffs in one of those Chinese finger devices. And a very soundproof basement. Now, fortunately for me, my husband turned out to be a nice guy. And I just want to say for the record, nice guys, they don't finish last. No, they finish first. Just like all you other guys. But lady, nice guys will sleep in the wet spot. And I am glad to be married. I have a friend, she's been single a very long time. Recently we went to this bar called the Rusty Nail. We're hanging out with these guys, we're doing shots, we're playing pool. Her and one of them fellas, they took off to the parking lot. She comes back and I'm like, so what happened? And she says, I let him put his rusty nail in my dusty snail. I was like, we're getting 2 more shots and we're going home. She says, yay, shots. What kind of shots are we gonna get? I'm thinking tetanus and penicillin. And man, when I was single, for the longest time, the only people asking me out were women. So one day my sister's over helping me practice for softball. And I'm just an umpire, trust me. I'm not running bases. And I asked her, why does everyone think I'm a lesbian? And she looks at me and she's like, I don't know. Your hat, your hair, your shirt, your pants, your shoes, you hang out at Home Depot, you drive a Ford F-150, you follow women's basketball. Your favorite comic is Wanda Sykes, you cried when they canceled Ella. You have everyone's average album, you can't lay up rainbows, you still use bar soap, and you have a girlfriend. I'm like, oh my God, we're just friends. But I don't care if I look like a lesbian, obviously. If my hair is a mess, I'm throwing on a ball cap. If I'm cold, I am wearing a flannel. If I don't feel like bringing my purse, I'm bringing a wallet. With a chain. Safety first, ladies. Then my husband comes up with a cute little nickname for me. He says, come here, my little trucker. Back that rig up. I'm like, boop, 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 boop. I got ready to take that stuff off. And my husband's like, no, leave that. Wait a minute. Is my husband gay? Guys, I need to make a phone call. I need to get out of here. My name's Ben. Read my better.